You have the power to completely change your life. And I know that because I completely changed mine. Hey, my name is Carly, and if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, then welcome. I'm a mindset coach who used to teach elementary school, and I completely changed my life. Let's have a story time. So we're gonna rewind the clock here about 5 years, and I'm gonna paint the picture of what my life looked like back then. I was living with my parents. I was in a horrible relationship, toxic, abusive, cheating on me with my best friend, kind of horrible. I was teaching elementary school, which was not an awful job. I really loved the kids and I loved my coworkers, but wow, was I underpaid and doing so much work for that amount of money. And on top of all of that, I was really unhappy with my appearance. I was about 20 pounds heavier than I am now, and just overall not confident at all in myself. But that literally could not be further from the truth now on any front. So let's talk about how I went from that to this, which is running a 6-figure business from home, married to my literal dream man. It does not get better than him. And spoiler alert, I do not live in my parents' house anymore. I do live in a beautiful home now. So let's get into it. What I will say right off the bat is I didn't like wake up one day and go, oh my God, I need to change my life. Like, it was not that type of epiphany at all. But I did slowly but surely start to do things that made my life better. And even if it was hard in the moment, I took that leap, and I am so freaking glad that I did. So after breaking up with my boyfriend, I was basically sworn off of men and decided that I would make a list of my literal dream man and that I would not be settling for anything less than that man. And y'all, this list was a little delulu. I was like, 6'4", has to have a great job, has to absolutely love German Shepherds, like so specific, has to love my mom as much as I do. Like, it was just such a list. And most of the things were kind of reasonable. And then there were things that were like, has to have blue eyes. And like, why? I'm looking back now and I'm like, why was I so stubborn about that? But it doesn't really matter, because what I figured out in the future was that I actually was accidentally manifesting my now husband, Jeff. And if you're newer to manifestation, or even if you're not, essentially what I was doing is that I just was saying, I am not settling for anything less than this. Do not send me anyone who does not fit the bill on all of these fronts. And I would not even go on a date with anyone unless they checked off all of those boxes. And 2 months later, wouldn't you know, he asked for my number, and now we're here. So that was step one. I got really stubborn about the things that I knew I deserved. And even though I didn't realize I was manifesting, that's exactly what I was doing. The next thing I did was I started looking for different jobs. And truthfully, this is tied to meeting my husband, because back then he was a private pilot and he was flying all over the place to these gorgeous vacation destinations all the time. And I was high-key jealous. I was like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to drop everything and go to the Bahamas on a Wednesday. And obviously I could not do that while I was teaching. So although I really loved my kids and I loved my coworkers and my principal was my mom, I knew that I wanted to have a little bit more of a flexible life, which led me to exactly where I am now. I dabbled in a few different types of entrepreneurship, and I will go into detail on those later. But essentially what I settled on was copywriting, and it's completely remote, and it was a pretty easy industry to get into. So I started freelance writing for other entrepreneurs and got my foot in the door with that. That job ultimately replaced my teaching income and allowed me to quit that job. And then it was actually from there that I started coaching. I kind of miss teaching, and I really wanted to help other people grow their businesses once I got to a point in my business where I knew I could teach someone else to scale. So that's what I did. And I started coaching in mid 2021 and then transitioned into mindset and money coaching earlier this year, 2023. Now, y'all, I don't want to make this sound like some fairy tale. I have had ups and downs. I've had seasons of depression. I have had a lot of times where I wanted to fucking quit. Like, I wanted to throw it all away, because entrepreneurship is a challenge. But truthfully, with the things I've accomplished and when I look back on everything, I am so glad that I pushed through those, because even just this week, I've made about 2 months worth of teaching paychecks cash. However, this is so much bigger than money. I am 1,000,000% confident in myself now. I could basically do whatever I decided I was going to do. And more than anything, I'm actually fulfilled with what I'm doing. I want to tell at least one person, if it's one person that benefits from this, I will take it, that they can change their life. You can change your life if you want to. Everyone can. Everyone has the capability to. It's just whether you're actually willing to do what it takes in order to make it happen. So if you are on a journey to changing your life and you don't really know where to start or what to do or any of that, I have some takeaways from my my journey that I just want to remind you of, or maybe this is your first time hearing it, and I want you to revisit these during the times where you're not quite sure where to go, maybe you've lost direction, or maybe it's just fucking hard and you want to give up. Here are 4 things I've learned from my own journey that hopefully will help you during yours. And the overarching theme with all of these is self-love, because I truly believe that self-love is at the root of fulfillment. So number 1 is that you have to love yourself enough to accept what you actually want. There was a really long time while I was teaching that I felt so guilty for wanting to leave. And on top of that, even after I hit 6 figures in my first year of full-time business, I wanted more. I wanted to scale even more. And there were little pieces of me that felt guilty for wanting more. So whatever it is that you want, you have to allow yourself to want it without making yourself feel bad or wrong for that desire. I am a firm believer that any desire that you have is God-given. If you have a desire that's going to make your life better and it is in alignment with your faith or with your dreams or goals, it 100% is supposed to be there. You don't have that desire as an accident. So love yourself enough to accept it and go after it. The second thing I learned is that you have to love yourself enough to see it through. There was a period of time where I really wasn't taking my business seriously. I wasn't totally invested 100% emotionally. I was kind of just like on autopilot doing my thing, and I wasn't growing and I wasn't feeling good, and I probably wasn't making as much of an impact as I could have either. Discipline is a true act of self-love. In fact, I think it is the highest form of self-love. So love yourself enough, honor yourself enough to see this shit through, because you deserve it. The third thing that I kind of learned the hard way is that you have to love yourself enough to surround yourself with the right people on this journey. There are going to be people who don't get it, and there are going to be people who don't approve, and there are going to be people who want to support you but don't quite understand what you're doing, so they can't fully invest their energy into your journey. Those are not your people right now. Your people right now are the people who get it. In my experience, it was other women who were doing the same thing as me. It was other women who were ambitious and were building their own business too, and who really understood going after what was on your heart. Not to mention investing in mentors who could guide me along the way and not let me quit even when I wanted to. So please don't underestimate the absolute necessity of surrounding yourself with the right people and how much of an act of self-love it truly is. And then finally, this is maybe the hardest lesson that everyone has to learn when they go through a journey that requires them to change. And that is, you have to love yourself enough to give up the life that you currently have in service of the one that you want. You legitimately cannot stay the same and keep everything the same way and expect something different as an outcome. If you want to get wealthier, you're going to have to give up your identity as the broke girl. If you have an ambitious goal, you're going to have to give up that story you keep telling yourself about how you never finish anything. Or if you want to do something crazy like I did and completely quit your career and, find a new relationship and basically transform every part of your life, you're going to have the confidence that maybe you didn't have when you got into that situation in order to get out of it. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. So love yourself enough to let it go. I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you that it wasn't scary. It's still scary at times, but I know that I have such a rock solid mindset and such rock solid self-trust and self-love that everything that I'm doing is in service of my long-term goals and aligned with where I want to go and what I want my life to look like. So if you are someone who's like, I'm not fulfilled in my business, I'm not fulfilled in my life, I know that I can be fulfilled, I know that I can be happy, but I don't know where to go, then I have linked some information in the bio below, and I really want you to use it. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for hearing my story. I hope that I inspire at least one person to change their fucking life, because anyone can do it. There's going to be a ton of mindset content, manifestation content, money content, all the things on this channel. So if that type of thing interests you, then please subscribe and stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next video.